Hey, what's up, everyone? So, first of all, my exhaust is probably louder because I installed my test pipe. So I'm gonna try to speak up. But this video, I wasn't really expecting to make it now that I don't own my STI anymore. But I've had some questions and private messages from some of you guys asking me about modding your WRX or your STI and kind of like what course to take and how to avoid ringland failure and other issues that might occur. We'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, the first and most important factor of modifying your car, any car, not just a Subaru, is your warranty. Pretty much anything that will really make your car go faster or enhance its performance will pretty much void your warranty, because it's not the case with all dealerships or car companies, but most of them are looking for any way to void your warranty so they don't have to pay to fix your car. So for Subarus, a common first modification, at least in my opinion, is the cob access port. Not just on Subarus, but just stick with me, we're talking about Subarus mainly here. So the cob access port is a very popular first modification, which that's a huge discussion on if it voids your warranty or not, because there's a debate that just is beat to death about if the access port is actually detectable or not, because from what I understand, some people, including Cobb, I believe, claim that once the access port is uninstalled, it restores your ECU flash count to being 0, which is what it should be when it's stock, unless there's a new factory tune that came out, which actually did happen with the 2013 model cars, or the 2012s or 11, something like that. I think the model year 11 to 12 or something like that, they recently had a new tune for emissions, so that would theoretically raise your flash count by 1, but then Super could look back and see that, okay, that was actually from us. So that's a whole tricky thing. I don't think that there's really any way to know for sure. I mean, people swear either way. So that's just, if you're going to install an access port, when I installed mine, I was hoping I wouldn't ever need my warranty, but it is a risk that you need to take, because I think it's a risk worth taking, because quite frankly, the access port off the shelf map is probably more reliable than the Subaru OEM maps are, because the Subaru maps tend to run really lean going into boost, which can cause engine failure or any kind of other issues. So like I said, you gotta decide if you're going to be willing to void your warranty, and then if your warranty is void and you have an issue, if you're going to be willing to cough up the money to fix it, or what you're going to do at that point. So, like I said, the access port's a really common mod. The access port is really easy to reverse though. So, depending on what goes wrong with your car, and if it's pretty much bone stock aside from the access port, if you just uninstall the access port and go into a dealership, my opinion is that they won't know. But on the other hand, that is fraud, because you are lying to Subaru by saying that your car is stock to take advantage of their factory warranty, which you voided knowingly. So that's like a whole gray area. Like, everyone has their own different opinions and beliefs when it comes to that. But the main focus of the video, before I go off topic, it's so easy to do with car stuff, there's so many different things to talk about, but my main topic is going to be, like I said, like what you should and shouldn't do if you're trying to be safe, I guess I should say. So one of the, probably like I said, the most common questions I've been getting recently is, if I go stage 2, is my car going to blow up? Or what can I do to keep my car running well so that it doesn't blow up? Or what can I do, to prevent ringland failure, And just so you guys know, ringland failure, I researched the crap out of it, and I haven't been able to find a true statistic of how popular it is, so I don't really know if it's super common or if it's rare, but all I know is I've seen over 7 cars just in my local car group here alone that have had it, not including mine. And then down in LA, there's a car group that I associate with also, and they've had 5 cars go out. And that was last time I checked, which was about 3 months ago. So, I mean, just the fact that I know over 10 vehicles personally that have had it, and they were pretty basic mods also, that just is kind of hopefully a guideline for you guys. But pretty much doing just the catback exhaust and in a stage 1 tune is going to be pretty basic stuff. I don't think you'd be really looking at any issues there, but a Pro Tune is always preferred, or even an E-Tune, because the off-the-shelf maps are just made off of like 1 or 2 cars, and then they're sent out for everybody, and everybody's car is different. Even though it is the same car, the engines are all different, and it's going to react differently to different tunes. So let's say, a perfect example, my friend's car ran perfect on the stage 2 off-the-shelf map. It pulled really well, it was a smooth pull, and it was making good power. My car, on the other hand, my STI, was not reacting well to the stage 2 off-the-shelf maps. I was getting bad boost creep, the car felt really shaky, didn't feel sturdy going into boost, and I was leaning out. So that's just an example of how off-the-shelf maps can be a total hit or miss. So a Pro Tune is always preferred to keep your car quote-unquote safe, because the tune is optimized for your vehicle. But pretty much what I've been telling people recently is, throwing a downpipe, a catback, even an intake and like an access port or a Pro Tune on your car, you should be pretty safe with that. You shouldn't really have any real issues. Like I said, I do know some people that did have those issues, but everybody, there's so many factors, like your driving style, your maintenance, like how often you're doing your oil changes, just all that different kind of stuff plays a role in your car's health. Or if you just got a dud from the factory, there's a ton of different factors that go into play here. So I believe that if you go like I said, downpipe, intake, catback, and tune, then you'll be pretty safe, because even if something were to go wrong and you decide that you do want to try to get your warranty from Subaru, that's pretty easy to reverse. It's just some bolt-on parts that are pretty basic to install and uninstall. So in some other cases, if you really mod past that point and start doing stuff like air oil separators, and you start doing like boost control solenoids, and you start doing trying to think, there's so many different mods, like external wastegates, like up pipes, different stuff like that, you're getting to the point where, depending on your technical abilities, you may be making it more difficult for you to put your car back to stock. And I've always been told that Subaru and other car manufacturers have paint on their bolts that when they're removed you can see the paint's gone or whatever, so I know you've messed with it. So pretty much if you mod your car at all, you're taking a risk. But from my experience, if you keep the basic bolt-ons like the downpipe and catback, your car will be pretty safe. But on STIs, the transmission is, as far as I'm concerned, solid. It can hold really good power, and it's a really solid transmission. But on the WRX, on the other hand, that 5-speed transmission is not as sturdy. And if you do start to make, like I said, these numbers are from tuners and stuff down in SoCal and from form reading, but if you start to make around like 350 torque plus, your transmission might be at risk. So with the WRX, the transmission is not nearly as strong as the STI, and that's something that you have to consider if you drive a WRX or an STI. But power-wise, for the STI block, what I've read is 350 wheel horsepower is about the threshold that you don't want to go past if you want to be quote-unquote reliable. And the STIs with torque, like 400, like high threes, that's around where you don't really want to go past. Like I said, every car is different. And with the WRX, kind of 330 wheel horsepower, like kind of 315 to 330 wheel horsepower on the WRX, and like 350 foot-pounds of torque is about where you don't want to go past, and those numbers are pushing it as it is. So, pretty much, if you want your car to last a long time and not give you any issues, then you don't modify it. But don't get me wrong and say that if you modify your car you're going to have issues. That's not the case. It's just so hard to explain. Like I said, there's so many different variables. I don't want to mislead any of you. But if you mod your car and you do it right, it should be fine. You just gotta take into account. So just keep in mind that with the STI and WRX block, that around 350 wheel horsepower is pushing it for an STI, and around 315 to 330 is pushing it for a WRX. And if you decide to hit those power levels, I would highly recommend that you have some money set aside for an engine rebuild. or some other alternate route, because some people do get their warranties when they have extensive mods, but it is slim. So pretty much, I hope I can answer you guys' question that if you want to be reliable and not have any issues with your car, and you do want to mod it, do basic bolt-ons like a downpipe intake cap back and a tune, and in some cases a boost control solenoid. But the only trick with that is you cannot drive on a car with the boost control solenoid that is not tuned for that solenoid. So you can't run an off-the-shelf map with the boost control solenoid, because it'll mess with your boost levels too much, so that's not safe. And just maintain your car, you know, keep up on your oil changes, research different weights of oil that are good for your car. Like I was running a Rotella T6, the 5W40, which I know is really popular for Subarus, and there goes one right now. And you know, just stay on top of it and do some research, see what's worked for other people, talk to tuners, talk to some shops, see what they recommend, what's their experience. But you just gotta kind of look around and get a feel for your car, and then decide what power you want to make. But yeah, I can go on and on about this video, so I guess I'll just cut it off here and just say that, like I said, not modifying your car is always the safest route, because your warranty will always be intact theoretically. But if you do modify it, it's the same old saying, you gotta pay to play. So hope this helped out some of you guys. If you have any other questions I didn't cover, let me know. So once again, sorry if it's hard to hear me. I have the microphone plugged in, but I think that my exhaust, it got loud from the test pipe, so it may be hard to hear me. But let me know. And yeah, guys, like I said, I hope this helped you. And see you guys in the next video. Later.